It's time for Contessa's Court with Wanda Julian. Wanda owns, creates, and runs 7 magazines. Each magazine is focused on health, beauty, and luxury. Her business motto is to share beauty and goodwill with the world. Now, it's time for the show, Contessa's Court.
Hello, everyone. It's Wanda. I'm glad you're back. We have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Kier. I know it doesn't look like Kier, but that's how you say it. So welcome, Dr. Kier.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm exceptional, thank you. How are you today?
I'm so good. And our story of how we met is actually kind of funny because we met in a Zoom call.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. We did.
Yeah, and it was like kind of like a networking and getting help with having offers, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and then you had mentioned that you were going to do a workshop, and I was like, I'm coming. It'll be awesome.
That's
And
right.
it was awesome, and that's how we met. And I've attended 2 workshops now, and you're like, well, why aren't you my client? I'm hopping in. I'm hopping in right now. Diving in. So I thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So could you share with our listeners a little bit about your business?
Yeah. I have this unique combination of geotran activations, human design, and coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I find most of the time is most people haven't heard of most of those. I mean, most people have heard of coaching.
Yeah.
Obviously. A lot of people these days have heard of human design, which, in case you haven't, is a combination of astrology and the I Ching and the energy systems, as in the chakra system, and also the Kabbalah. And I do analysis with that, which is, for me at least, utterly fascinating. But the actual key to what I do is the geotran and the activations. So I work with I basically have a unique synergistic creation of these several techniques coming together. And the point of them is to go into your inner biocomputers and clear out the equivalent of computer viruses that block your ability to just be you. The very first thing I start with any new client, or pretty much any friend to come to that, is to get you to be 100% you, because I know that you have a divine blueprint, and that the more you're in alignment with that divine blueprint, the easier, smoother, more productive, more creative, more passionate your life is going to be. Mm-hmm. So it's not that there's something wrong with your computers.
Right.
It's that chances are you have some kind of contamination that is acting, as I say, like a computer virus. And if we get that out of the way, things are bright and beautiful once more.
Yes. And I love it when we do the whoosh, we through it.
Yeah, exactly. So because I came into this from a geotran point of view, and then the coaching, one of the things that I know is that it's very advantageous to develop momentum. Yes. And this is where coaching is valuable, because coaching is what provides the long-term transformation. I can take almost anybody and get them back to being who they are 100%. However, their energy field truly believes that they're supposed to be whatever, you'll forgive my speaking frankly, whatever convoluted hot mess they were. This is not intended personally.
I know.
Anybody, you know, I've never met anyone who doesn't have something that needs to be cleared up.
Right.
And I can get them to being 100% who they were designed to be, but they won't stay there. It's kind of like to have one session is like going to the gym and then expecting that you actually have biceps.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to train your field and your inner biocomputers to say, oh, that's what you want me to be.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. It's like your cells are listening all the time and they will take instruction.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that most people don't actually know who they're designed to be. And that's
Right. Right. And so then, who are your customers?
Well, basically, I work with women, and there are a couple of reasons for that. And I work with healers and coaches and entrepreneurs who have made some progress. You know, they've had some success. They've got some kind of income coming in, but they keep running into some sort of issue. Yeah, and it's mainly money issues. I mean, that's where I tend to start.
Right.
Although in the past, I have to tell you that most of my clients have actually been ill on some level. They've had some sort of ailment, physical ailment, and they have tried everything. And I am not a medical doctor, and I don't pretend to be a medical doctor. And I, of course, would not want to practice without a license anyway.
Right.
But the problem has always been that they have not been able to get to the root cause of whatever the issue is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever's happening to you in the physical world is happening because of what's going on inside. Now, if we can get to that root cause inside, then it's so much easier to deal with the external symptoms. Yeah? So I've worked with people with all kinds of mysterious ailments they've tried everything medical, they've tried everything alternative, and the problem really is simply that they haven't gone deeply enough into whatever the cause is. So, and when I made this switch into really working with people's money issues, I'm finding exactly the same thing. Of course. I mean, how could it be otherwise? That's how the human system is set up, right? That you have things going on, or more likely not going on, being blocked in the soul level, in what you think, feel, believe, and desire. And we're seeing this because in the physical world, you're not able to make the money that you want to make, or if you do make the money, then it slips away, or there are all kinds of situations where your programming is not behaving the way that you would like it to.
Right. And your class that you're going to have this month, let us know the dates on that.
I will.
And that helps us clear our money blocks to make 10K plus months, right?
Right. It's so interesting in the coaching world because there are really 4 things that coaches are told constantly, consistently, that people will pay you to help them figure out. 4 topics, right? More time, more money, better health, better relationships. Okay? So even though the vast majority of my work is not, in fact, in the money field,
right,
that seemed like a really good way to show people what's possible when we clean up your inner biocomputers. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it's in 2 weeks' time. That's the 27th, Monday the 27th of Feb, and Tuesday the 28th of Feb, and Wednesday the 1st of March at noon Central Time, because I'm in Central Time at the moment. And y'all can work out your time zones from there.
Yeah.
And I've just got back from 5 weeks in France, so my sense of time zones is kind of interesting at the moment. And we will take about an hour each time, and we will go in there and find at least one major money block and clear it for everybody on the call. And then in the second one, we'll look at how we can reset the system so that it can actually receive the empowerment programs that are in fact available to you, that you come loaded with, but that have been suppressed or smothered really by social concerns, family beliefs, genetic line contaminations, all that lovely stuff. So that in the third one, we're going to do some activations. And activations are my very own technique. So, of course, I want to add those in somewhere.
Yes, of course. And do you want to show us one?
Ooh, yeah, I'd love to show you a bit of Geotran, if I may, rather than
Yes.
activations, because the
Mhm.
activations, I actually would need to get a file up. But the
Right.
activations are really simple. So anybody who's intrigued by the thought, just go to the website, Phoenix Activations, that's plural, phoenixactivations.com. And they're all there and they're all free at the moment. So I encourage you to go play.
Yes, it's fun. I have a lot of fun on there. I'm
But
like, I like this flower.
yeah, they're all based on sacred geometry.
Yeah.
Because anything that can go into the field and give you a specific resonance, whether it's music or rhythm, or in some cases words, in the case of Geotran, it's numbers, points, and geometries together, or in the case of activations, it's actually sacred geometry. It's a series of sacred geometries.
I love
That
it.
can move your energy. Okay?
Great. And then do you recall a specific aha moment that led to the launch of your business?
Not exactly, although that's a really good question. The aha for me was more about my personal journey. I mean, I have worked with a lot of clients, and most of them get an aha at some point or another, and I can tell you about that. But when I think about aha, I actually trained as an architect when I lived in Britain. And I'd done some other things. I didn't go to university till I was 28, so I had been in the workforce. And I assumed that I was going to be an architect for the rest of my life. So I came back to the States in 92, and I found I was pretty bored, really. I found that I just wasn't really enjoying being in an architectural practice. So I thought, okay, I'm surrounded by these passionate architects, and I'll bet there's something that I could be that passionate about, and I'm going to go find it.
Yeah.
So I sublet my apartment in Vermont, and I hopped in my car, and I took off south and west because by then I'd had 25 years of precipitation, and I thought some sun would be just really, really beneficial.
Yeah.
And I ended up in Arizona meeting Dorothy Espio, who is the creator of Geotran. And I met her in a business meeting. She said, I'm giving a demonstration of what I do next week. Come along if you like. So I did. And she said, if you're not making as much money as you'd like, if you have physical ailments, if you have family issues, if you keep having the same relationships over and over again, just with different people, these are programming issues. Now, you have to understand, I grew up in a family of computer programmers.
So she was speaking your language.
Oh, my little antennae were going, programming issues. Because I already knew that if it's a programming issue, we can fix it.
Yep.
And that's what she had created, an entire programming or coding language for the inner biocomputers. So I just stayed for 3 years. And I worked in her office, and I went to every class she gave for 3 years.
Wow.
And about a year into that is actually when I had the further aha. Yeah. The further aha was, oh my gosh, this is just what I was looking for. This actually uses all of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it uses I used to be a chef, uses that kind of, oh, we're going to have a bit of this and a bit of this and a bit of this, and it's all going to work together. And the architectural understanding of, okay, this is how we create a structure that's actually going to be stable. So even my writing came into it. And so I stayed for another 2 years.
So you were there for 5 years?
No, I was there for 3 years.
3 years. Oh, 3 years.
Aha moment came in a year into the whole thing. And at the end of that time, I wasn't going to stay in the town that Dorothy was in, because why would I? I'm not going to stay in her shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And by then I knew how to listen in the field. Right? And I said, okay, where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to go? And I kept hearing California. And I kept going, what? Because in my own self, I had no interest in moving to California. But if that's where Spirit wanted me to go, okay. And I did. I went to California. I was there for 18 years. And during that time, I trained as a coach at CTI in San Rafael. I got my doctorate with American Pacific University. And I worked on people. That's what I did. I worked on people. So, and then 4.5 years ago, a series of circumstances, ended up moving here, Urbana-Champaign. Just, nice little university town, but it's in the Midwest. So I now spend half my time here in Urbana and the other half of the time in Central France.
That's amazing. We'll be right back.
Join the tour that Angie B presents as we head to El Segundo, California, March 17th and 18th, 2023. There'll be a pound cake tasting challenge, a 50-50 raffle, special awareness workshops, meet and greet the authors, and take home an autographed copy. For more information, search for the event on Facebook or call 407-914-6519. That's 407-914-6519. California, here we come.
Ma, 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 ma.
We parents need to understand that our children may know the pitfalls that we taught them, yet they will sometimes have to drag themselves out of their own pits in order to learn to reach up for God instead of reaching up for us, steering them in the direction of God Almighty. That is the best way to raise an adult child. Why hearing God's voice is essential to motherhood. Written by evangelist Angie B. and published by Ladero Press.
Ma.
Angie B has and her husband, girl, they got multiple books. Girl, if they fall down a flight of stairs, they write a book about it. Okay. They got if their daughters get dogs, they write a book about it. You'll see.
Contact us today at 407-914-6519. That's 407-914-6519.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back from the commercial. Here's Dr. Kier again. Welcome back. Is it okay that I call you that? I probably should say your whole name. I'm sorry.
No, Dr. Kier's fine.
Okay.
Kier's fine.
You're like Dr. Phil, but Dr. Kier.
I have no comment about that.
It is fancy. Yeah, fancy title.
Yeah, well, it's kind of amusing to me, or ironic perhaps. I got my doctorate namely because I broke my leg.
Oh.
In 2001, I came off my motorbike and I broke my leg. So I was not allowed to even set foot to the floor for 3 months.
Oh.
So clients had to come to me. Other people had to do my shopping. It was pretty painful. And I thought, there's a silver lining here somewhere. I just need to find it. And I remembered that one of my Geotran colleagues had mentioned this doctoral program. So that very day, I called them up and made arrangements, and they sent me a load of stuff, and it was all distance learning. And 17 months later,
Wow.
I had my doctorate with distinction from American Pacific University because I could still read and write.
Yep.
And think.
Yeah.
And then my doctoral thesis actually became my first book as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But it's ironic in the sense that almost everybody I spend time with here in Illinois, because my friend here is a physics professor, they're all physicists and mathematicians. And you don't stay in physics and mathematics unless you have a doctorate. So everybody's got a doctorate, so it's kind of meaningless. But my clients love it.
Well, yeah. I have a doctor. That's a coach. So fancy.
That's
Fancy.
right. Hey, I'm willing to milk it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Why not? If I was a doctor or had a doctorate, I'd be all, that's Princess. That's Dr. Princess.
Well,
Hello.
yeah.
I'm a princess.
Absolutely.
I'm just not wearing a crown right now. That's all.
Well, you want to put it aside from time to time. It needs to be cleaned.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what really motivates you to jump out of bed every morning?
Well, I really, 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 really love seeing my clients become who they are. That is just my passion. That's my purpose here. That's what I have a genius for. It's anything else is just sort of around that. Yes, okay, I've written 10 books and that's really very nice. And I've got this doctorate and all that good stuff. But really, it's when I get to work with someone for a couple of hours and just see their face change from to, oh, right, huh. And that's why my practice is called Light Me Up Coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
I just love seeing people's faces light up. I work entirely by Zoom. So that's been, the whole COVID thing has not been a problem for me because I was already working by Zoom before then.
Right.
And it's for me, it's just really exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to see the progress too, from session to session, like that they make. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's for me, that's the coaching part is to see that, as I think I said earlier, we can work for a couple of hours. We can get somebody to be 100% who they are. That's fabulous. I know that if they go back into the situation they just came out of, they are going to revert. Because you're always going to end up believing and acting in accordance with the majority of energy that's around you. Yeah. So effectively, if you look at the 5 or 6 people that you spend the most time with, whether they're the people you like the most or not is immaterial. It's who are you spending time with. Effectively, your radio receiver is tuning into their radio transmitter, like it or not. And it takes some time and some awareness and some practice to not only say, okay, I'm not listening to that anymore. I'm not available for that anymore. My favorite expression at the moment, I'm not available for whatever anymore. But also to deliberately tune your receiver to the energy that is really you and that supports you. Yeah. So that's why, I'll recommend books for people or that's how affirmations work. And what I find is that if I can work with someone every week, that gives a week gives an ideal amount of time for them to process whatever we have just cleared. And then we start from there rather than from here, rather than from the beginning again. So we're building some momentum. We're getting them to walk up that golden staircase and not be sliding back down to the bottom every time.
Right. Kind of like an escalator.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good analogy. It really is. Yeah. So, so that's where I like in terms of the coaching approach. I mean, I ideally, I like to work with people for at least 3 months, and the level of change is really remarkable and inspiring.
Yeah, and you have a 3 month, a 6 months, and a 12 months, right?
That's correct. Yes, I do. Yeah, and I understand that's a commitment and that's why I like to offer the master classes, and also I'm always willing to talk with people and see whether we're a good fit and find out what it is I can do for them. because if we're gonna I am personally that kind of person. If we're gonna do this, let's do it full on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I am too. I have 2 coaches now, and you'll be my 3rd one.
Oh, great.
Lisa is my mindset coach. I have a success coach named Kelly, and then you, and with the Geotrend and the
Uh-huh.
everything that you do, because I've never seen anybody do this. In fact, when I first attended the workshop, I was like, what is she talking about? It sounds really cool. And I was all in. Scoot tips forward. Cheep.
Yeah. Well, there are only 40 of us who do Geotrend in the world.
Wow.
So, there are lots of coaches. I have 3 coaches myself. I'm a great believer in coaching. I think we all need to invest in ourselves, especially if we are asking, or at least hoping, that other people are going to invest in themselves with us. You've got to model the behavior for your clients, how that works. But we can really do remarkable things with Geotrend.
Yes.
And of course, naturally, I like my activations because they're mine. But
Yeah.
the combination of coaching and Geotrend, I think, is very, very effective, very productive.
Yeah. So we did activations. Wasn't that the 3rd day?
That was the 3rd day. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with this masterclass that's coming up, that's the 27th and 28th of February and the 1st of March.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll focus on clearings in day 1. We'll focus on some Geotrend resets in day 2, and then we'll tuck in some activations.
Yay!
Just because I like to give a lot of value, because I love to see people change, because I love to see those faces light up.
Mm-hmm.
Just because.
Well, it's great, and it gives everybody it's kind of like a soup because there's a little bit of everything in there, and in the workshop.
Yeah, and this is where my background in being a chef is so helpful.
Uh-huh.
Because
about food a lot, and I
I'm
love
actually
it.
sitting here in my kitchen at the moment, right?
Oh.
And I've got 4 dozen herbs and spices. I've got
wow.
nearly as many flavorings for the chocolate truffles that I make. I've got ingredients, and I know from experience, from skill, and from talent and intuition how those ingredients go together.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm bringing. That's, in a sense, the unique part of what I'm bringing to my work with clients.
I love it.
We're just gonna be, do what you require. It's not about where I think you should be going with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, what does your system cry out for? What is your system saying? Because we each have a divine blueprint, and that divine blueprint knows exactly how you got off track, step by step. And it knows exactly how to get you back on track, step by step, in order of priority. So I don't have to go in there really knowing anything about you. I get to listen.
Right.
I listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes it very, very personal.
Yes.
Which is, fun for both of us, really, because, if everybody was the same, how boring would that be?
I know. I say that to my boys and to my husband. I said, if we were all the same, we would be so bored. And I am very unique. I know you know that.
I do know that. I do. Yeah. Yeah.
My inner child is a 3-year-old princess. And so she loves to be bossy. And I'm an Aries, so I'm already bossy. So, oh boy, is she bossy.
Yeah.
So,
that's an interesting combination.
It is an interesting combination. And so, what sets your business apart, and what unique need are you filling for your customers?
Right. That's a really excellent question. And okay, what sets my business apart is the Geotrend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as I say, I learned it from the gal who created it, and Geotran is a coding language, and it's all about numbers and points and geometries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit like acupuncture, only without the needles, thank God. So yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
So you know that an acupuncturist who is knowledgeable and has had some training will use the needles to allow more energy to go through or to inhibit the energy along the meridians. Well, in Geotran, we're doing the same thing. We're going into your circuitry, and we're saying, okay, we need a little more energy here. Or, oh, look, there's a block over here. There's a block on the liver. There's a block on the lungs. There's a block on the whatever, right?
Right.
Now, one of the ways it differs from acupuncture, I mean, apart from the needle thing, obviously, is that it's operating in the soul level, in what you think, feel, believe, and desire. Yes, mainly emotionally, to be honest with you. And also, the other difference is that I'm not exactly sure how to explain this. 80% of the things that I clear from people are not them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at typical therapy, like talk therapy, yeah, and acupuncture, the assumption is that if you have an issue, it's actually your issue. Well, my assumption is if you have an issue, it's not your issue.
Okay.
So what exactly do I mean by this? I was working on somebody the other day who was still resentful about something that had happened around the time that she got married, 45 years ago. And this woman is an energy healer herself, and she had looked at this and done everything that she knew how to do in order to clear this. I went and looked at it with a different perspective, basically. Because the first thing I ask, well, after I've established what age it is that whatever has started, yeah, and it's actually typically below the age of 12, not in this particular case. The next thing I'm going to ask is this your issue or is this somebody else's issue? And 80% of the time, it's going to be somebody else's issue.
Okay.
So we go back and we fix what needs to be fixed there. As my teacher would say, it's never too late to have a happy childhood.
Right.
Right? So because it's not even your issue, it's not your belief, it's not your block, it's not your toxic memory, it's not yours. It's actually easier to get that out of your system because it doesn't belong there anyway.
Right. It could be something from your mom when you were 10.
Something from your mom when you were 10, for instance. Now, one of the interesting things about specializing in this subconscious stuff is, of course, it brings up stuff for me, and then I have to go back and figure out what it was at 5 years old that I got from my dad. And it's always easier to work with somebody else. That's why I am a coach. So when it happens to me and I can't figure it out, I have to go to one of my Geotran colleagues because at least we speak the same language and have the same perspective. So if we can just get those contaminations and that assimilation and that possession out of the system, then the person's system can actually function again. Now, it may be that they've created a successful life, in which case, yay. But usually it's at the cost of their system resources.
Right.
Right? Because if you have a computer virus or the equivalent, there really are only three outcomes. One is that you end up running a program you don't want to be running. The second is that you have to use up system resources to get around that program. And the third is that your computer crashes.
Oh.
Now, those computer crash situations are the ones that produce the mystery illnesses. See, so if we can go in there and find out what caused that system to crash, it's actually normally pretty easy and straightforward to get the system back up and running. So it's exactly like, here's my laptop, it's not working properly. I call the nearest 19-year-old, my eldest grandchild, or actually I have a tech guy. who lives around the corner, bless him. Yeah. And they come in and they go blah, 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 on the keyboard. And I know I could learn how to do that. I could, except I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Right.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to identify what the problem is. We're going to get that programming out of there. We're going to make sure that your system can reboot with the programs that you were designed to have. And then
Yes.
we let you free into the wild to go and have a great life. At least
I love it.
Yeah.
So why is your service especially important in today's modern world?
Well, actually, it's extremely helpful because everybody now knows about computers. Now, when
Mhm.
Dorothy created this, we didn't have the younger generation that just totally grew up with computers. Now, we did in my case because I grew up in a household of computer programmers, but that was very rare.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, that was like in the 50s and 60s. So now when people actually have a daily experience of working with computers, it's much easier for them to understand how their own system could get out of whack and how we can get it back where it's supposed to be. Now, in terms of my focus on things like money, for instance, well, that is a very interesting question. As I said earlier, all of my coaching colleagues keep saying, well, really people are only prepared to pay for time, money, health, relationships. Okay, well, it's not that money is the be-all and end-all of life. On the contrary. But I'll tell you, worrying about money certainly takes out a lot of the pleasure and joy in life. We just we are not designed to be struggling all the time.
Right.
And in the kind of society and culture that we have at the moment, a lot of that struggle is around money.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can clear that actually frees up people to pursue whatever their particular genius and passion and purpose might be. And heaven, it's not that we need people with more money. We need people who are more on track with their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to make the world worth living in. So I'm just taking a step back from that and saying, okay, what's going to allow people, what's going to support people to be the genius that they are, following the purpose that they're here to pursue. And what comes back to me over and over again from people is, well, what would really help a lot is if I could have a more consistent income at a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, of those big four, let's go for this one. And then I sort of backed myself into a corner because I put my focus on how can we clear money blocks for most people. So who do I attract as clients? People with money blocks. Oh dear.
But you help clear them and then they have money.
But then I help clear them and then they have money and then they can afford to pay me. So that works out in the end.
It's a win-win.
It's
a win-win.
So
really that's awesome. Can you share more detail on the kinds of service and products you offer?
Yeah, for sure. Let's start very small, if we may.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd like to show you a tiny bit of Geotran so you can see how quick and easy this is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so I'm going to be doing some muscle testing over here.
Okay.
Right? And I'm sure everybody who's watching knows what muscle testing is, but for the 10% of people who don't, muscle testing means that when we're treating all the muscles as all the cells as little tiny batteries. And when there's more life force energy going through, then it's very easy to keep the arm up if you're doing the arm testing. Or in my case, I'm going to do it like this. And when there's a lot of energy, the fingers slip past each other very quickly and you get the sound. You're just snapping fingers. And if there's less energy, then if you're doing the arm test, the arm goes down. Or if you're doing it this way, your fingers feel sticky and you don't get the sound. Okay. So I just mentioned this so that to be transparent about what we're doing. Yep. Okay. So what I'd like you to do, if you would be so kind, is I would like you to touch your solar plexus. All right. So your solar plexus is the soft bit just under the middle of the ribs. Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't matter which hand. Okay. So I'm testing her and she's weak for that. Right. I'm not saying she's weak in general. Of course not. I'm just saying for that point.
Okay.
That point represents a certain issue. Okay.
Okay.
So if you would take your hand away, we'll do a verbal pretest. All Geotran has pretest, correction, post-test. Okay, so we just did a pretest. We're going to do another pretest. And the pretest has used, I want you to say to me, I choose to succeed.
I choose to succeed.
And that is off.
That's off.
Now, I know that in your mind, you absolutely choose to succeed. I have no doubt about this.
Right. Yeah.
But your wiring, your circuitry, see, this is why I like human designs. Human design's all about the circuitry too. Your circuitry is saying,
Okay.
we just can't really get the energy flowing to that part of you.
Okay. So what do we do? Yay!
Right. All right. Okay. So with the right hand, you're going to cone the fingers. Okay. Now you are the clock. You're going to, I'm just going to do my camera so that people can see. And you're going to do right hand clockwise over that solar plexus. And you're going to say 2-2.
2-2.
There you go. Okay.
Yay!
Touch the point. And now it's strong.
Yay!
Say to me, I choose to succeed.
I choose to succeed.
And it's strong. You see how quick this is.
That's very quick, yeah.
So there are 99 major points and 3,000 minor points in your field.
Wow.
And I don't have codes for every single one of them. But I've been doing this for 25 years and I've got most of them. And I'm the one who takes the notes in all the conferences and conference calls and our 4 gatherings per year. So if anybody's got the files, it's me.
Yay!
And what I'm doing is all the time I'm listening.
Right.
Yeah? So let's say someone like yourself, Wanda, is coming to me and saying, okay, I've got such and such an issue. I'm listening. I'm saying, now, according to your divine blueprint, what do we require to get you back on track? And I always start with, are you 100% you?
Yep.
Yeah. So we get you to be 100% you, and then we're listening for, okay, now that you're you, maybe nothing else is required. We'll see. What do you need then? And we will then do a combination of coaching, integrations. Now, integrations is a Geotran term. It means you have a goal here, and here's you, and we need to get them to work together. So integrate those. Or activations, which says you already have this energy somewhere in there, and now we're going to switch it on. You know, these are how these things work together. Right? I'm not sure that was your original question, but it was fun to talk about.
Well, the services and products that you offer. So you offer the 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month programs.
That's right. And I offer both one-to-one and group programs.
Right.
Right. And I work with people with money issues. I get it. That it may be a challenge to go for the one-to-one. And there are all kinds of blocks where a group program is perfectly adequate. But then I also work with people who have had a lot of trauma in their past or maybe have a physical issue, which means that whatever the belief, usually it's beliefs, not always, but whatever the beliefs are or the emotions or whatever it is, has been with them long enough to slow down the frequency of vibration to the point where it's reached their physical body. And that's why I very often work with people one-to-one.
Right.
Both for the confidentiality issue, but also they've got some kind of intricate interlocking set of issues that we just really need to do some excavation, hopefully not too painfully, so that we can set them free.
Right. We got a question. Do you work with clients in person or only on Zoom?
Well, If a client lives within 20 miles of me, I'll work with them in person. But mostly I work on Zoom because most of my clients are in other countries or halfway across the country here, or I'm in France. You know, if I'm in France and somebody's on the West Coast, then yeah, I'm going to work with them by Zoom.
Well, and it works just as well as if you're in person or on Zoom.
Yes, in spirit, there is no time and space.
Right.
So I used to work with everybody by phone before Zoom was really freely available.
Right.
So Zoom is great because I can see people's, you know, facial expressions. I can see their body language. I can see whether they're doing the geotran, you know, correct the way it needs to be done. I think Zoom is just fabulous. Yeah.
I love it. Why do business owners get blocked from making money?
Now I'm so glad you asked that question. One of the cool things about geotran, and everything I do come to that, is that we can treat a business as if it's an individual, right? So it may be that there's assimilation, contamination, or possession on you, the business owner or the business creator, yeah? Or it may be that there's assimilation, contamination, possession on the business as a separate entity.
Okay.
Yeah, because the business is just as susceptible to the radio frequencies, as it were.
Yes.
Maybe more so. Yeah.
Yes.
So either works.
Okay.
Yeah. Individual, group, or business.
Yeah. And you want your business to be the best it can be, and also yourself, so you can be the best you can be.
Yes.
And you help with that.
Yes.
All right. And I would imagine you have all sorts of client success stories. What is the one that really stands out the most?
Well, this is going to seem like a really little one, but it made a big impression on me. After I did my first masterclass, and we had, I don't know, 8 or 10 people. Everybody who was there in the live got back to me with a success story. But the one that really, really got me was the gal saying, "Oh my gosh, within 6 hours of the end of the masterclass, I made my first sale on Etsy."
Aww.
Okay, it's only one little sale, but she'd been trying for months.
That's awesome.
Like, you know, that door opened.
That's amazing. And sometimes it's something, it was a money block for her, right? And attending the class helped remove it. And
well, right.
So,
so when we talk about money blocks, you know, it's easy to get lost in the numbers. But actually, in my experience, it's more about your ability to receive. Now, in fact, I think you will recall in that last masterclass, I said to everyone, okay, here's your homework. I want you to sit down as soon as we're done. I want you to sit down and write out 19 or 20 different directions from which you can receive money. I have absolutely no idea whether anybody did it or not.
I did it. I have 25 now. So
there you go. And the thing is, one of the really fabulous things about a piece of homework like that is that it's going to bring up your beliefs and your blocks. Yeah, because you're going to write something down and you go, "Oh no, I'm never going to receive money from there." Stop judging it. Stop assuming. Just write down, however wild it seems. I mean, laundry baskets full of $100 bills. Totally fine with me.
Totally fine with me. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Bart T, and we're coming to California. Now we're going to have the pound cake challenge once again. My belly is not satisfied, and I'm searching for judges. If you want to be a judge, please contact. The information is at the bottom of the screen. But again, you know, I'm the one that's making the final decision. But I ain't looking for that. I'm looking for a buttered pound cake. I don't want nothing in my cake, nothing on my cake. nothing on top of my cake, nothing inside of my cake. I don't want no chocolate. That look like mold there. But I'm looking for, oh yes, indeed. I'm looking for a butter pound cake that could have a little more, could be a little more darker. But please come out. Entry fee is only $10. I'm giving away $100 as the total prize. So be interested. You got a good recipe, and you know how to make a pound cake. Please come out and see if I can take my pound cake home. Now we're gonna be like I say, we're gonna be in Asegando. Did I say that right? Asegando. Sounds like Mexican, like we're going over to Mexico. But it's California, y'all, at the Cambria Hotel. So come check us out. We're gonna have a great time. And I'd like to thank our hosts for inviting us down to California. So until we meet again, bring that pound cake with you. See you there.
Greetings. I'm Larita, host of So What's the Problem TV show. It airs Thursdays at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live. I conduct interviews and I spread awareness. If you follow my page, you'll get the notifications and you will never miss an episode. A cheerful heart is good medicine and laughter is good for the soul. Thanks for watching.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back, Dr. Kier. Hello. Welcome back. Okay, so I find your work fascinating. Is there anything that we did not cover that you would like to share?
Here's where, as my teacher would say, I'm just going to go into my office for a minute.
Okay.
Well, I would love it if people would get in contact with me if they feel that there's some way that I can assist and serve. That's what I'm here for. I do have, actually I have 5 websites, so I'm not going to send you there, but you can contact me by email and of course on Facebook. I mainly work on Facebook. We do actually have a Facebook group called Light Me Up Coaching, and that's where we're going to have the masterclass in 2 weeks' time. So if you'd like to have a taste of what it's like to work with me and what we can do together, that would be a really, really good starting point. So that's going to be in 2 weeks. That's on Monday the 27th, Tuesday the 28th, and Wednesday the 1st of March. And it's at noon Central Time. So you get to work out the time zone stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be by Zoom and also as a Facebook Live. And of course, it's completely free. And I'd be happy to send you the information for that. So if you, dear listener, if you're an entrepreneur or a coach or a therapist who's doing all the work and everything your coaches tell you to do, mm-hmm. and you're still struggling, or maybe you've had some success and you're ready to feel safe with larger amounts of money, but you don't know how to get there, or you know that your inner blocks are affecting your life, but your clients as well. Now, that's a point you need to consider. Your clients mm-hmm. are going to do what you do, regardless of what you say.
Okay.
So if you're going to be a good model, You've got to fix your life and income first.
Mhm.
And if you're more than ready to clean out those pesky subconscious blocks so that you can make the leap to that next level, whatever that is for you,
Mhm.
but like a minimum of let's get some 10K a month income in there, then this might be something that you'd find really useful, and we'd sure love to have you. We'd love to include you in the group.
Absolutely. I'll be there. I
Yeah.
love it. And I'm happy to be your newest client.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. I only have spaces for a couple more one-to-one clients. So
Mhm.
if you're already there and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for, hooray.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have 1 or 2 spots still available.
Mhm.
And we can do it as a 3 months, 6 months, 1 year
Mhm.
thing, meeting once a week for 90 to 120 minutes. You know what? I say 90 minutes. It always ends up being 2 hours, sometimes more. And that's okay. Because I'm never giving up until I get you to being 100% you.
Yeah.
That's my determination. But I also just recently started doing this. I'm actually offering a group clearing class.
Mhm.
And if you contact me, I can send you that offer and see whether that's a good fit for you. I don't do sales calls, but I'm very happy to chat with you on Facebook. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a delight having you.
thank you.
You're welcome. And I would love to have you on our 3rd season when we shoot that, if you'd be available.
Whenever, however you wish, I'm at your disposal.
All right. Wonderful. So thank you again for being our guest today. And remember to message her on Facebook. You can email her. You can call her. Right? You gave their number, right?
I did. It was
Right.
a
And
rash
so,
decision, but they checked.
right. And and remember her group is facebook.com groups Light Me Up Coaching.
Mhm.
And the masterclass is there. And then she also has her website, lightmeupcoaching.com.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. And remember, everyone, right hand clockwise on the solar plexus, 2-2, and we'll all have more success.
Yay. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.